Streaming!
We're streaming live.
Streaming California.
Oh, yeah.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Awesome Hardware, episode 18. This is side B. If you missed side A, go ahead and pop over to Paul's channel. That is, of course, if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching with us live, thanks for staying tuned. We've got a good show for you guys today. We're continuing the momentum here, talking about Fury X, Batman Arkham Knights on the PC and how horrible that is. A bunch of other stuff. AMD using an Intel CPU for their Quantum mini PC. Just a little preview of what's going to be happening today. But first off, we've got a few announcements. So, Paul, we are drinking out of your glorious new mugs, or I'm sorry, your new glasses that you just put up on your website. Yes. You can go check them out at paulshardware.net, I believe. And you can drink out of this amazing, what is this? English pint glass. It's an English pint glass.
It's an English pub glass, at least as listed on my site.
Yes.
They're fantastic because they have this new logo, which will soon be integrated into my header logo.
Very nice.
I'm going to be working on that very soon.
Very classy.
And they have 20 ounces of, they hold 20 ounces of beer.
Oh.
But also, Kyle, you have new, you've restocked.
I have.
The ever successful CPU cooler shirt.
Yes, about I'd say a month or two ago, I pretty much released this new shirt design that I had in my mind, and I contacted a designer. She made it happen, and the shirt sold out like that. It was pretty damn quick. So I just got them back in stock. If you guys are curious to know if that we have your size, or if I have your size, I do. I have it in all sizes now.
Little tidbit of knowledge about the CPU shirt.
What's that?
Kyle was talking to me about the development process of it because they went through a few different revisions of the design, and they revised it to be a little bit less rapey, I believe was the terminology.
Yes. If you think that's bad, you should have seen the prototypes. I mean, it was just like, damn, don't wear that shirt in public. It was a pajama shirt for sure.
But it's very cute now. So
it's adorable.
That's good.
Amazing how quickly you can go from rapey to adorable, just like that.
You change a few lines up, and it's just like, oh,
it's all in the lines. It's in the facial expression. Yeah. He's a little bit more innocent now, especially the CPU cooler. Before he was like angry. He was like, yeah, take it. And now he's just like, we're a team.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, this is more naive. Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of thought process. I'm really proud of the shirt. This ring. Now that I have a wedding ring on, it clinks
You're not married
again. Yet. I know, but I figured she gets to wear her damn engagement ring.
I still do it all the time. Trust me, it doesn't go away, especially with a thicker ring.
Yeah.
My ring is supposed to be a silverish version of the Ring of Power, by the way. And I like the video I did. The video I did yesterday. Yeah. My custom versus reference GPU video. At one point, I'm like taking this 980 Ti, and I'm like, bang, and I just like knocked it. I was just like, oh, just gonna keep
I always
going
get the most paranoid when I'm washing dishes. Like I grab the cup and I'm like, oh, it's like a nice wine glass.
A wine glass you could easily shatter by grabbing. I mean, I can do that before just by the strength of my bare
pinky hand,
man mitts. But
man mitts.
Anyway,
your man hands. But yes, go ahead and buy a shirt. Buy a CPU cooler shirt. You will love it. I wear mine all the time.
Sel wants to get the prototype shirt.
Sel? Only for you, Sel. Only for you, you rapey bastard. So that's pretty much all we have for announcements. So why don't we just dive right in, continuing off where Paul left off in his segment, which was tech news.
Tech news.
Basically, the first one I have up is on the Fury X. As we all know, it is launching tomorrow. If you're watching us live, if you're watching me on YouTube, it's already here. And half of what I'm going to say probably won't matter much anymore because we'll just be able to verify it from all the reviews and whatnot. Who are you getting at?
Jay's calling me.
JayzTwoCents is calling Paul right now.
Answer him live on the show?
Answer it. Put him on, only if you put him on speakerphone.
We gotta put him on
But don't tell him he's being recorded live, unless he's in chat.
Wait, no, that's the wrong button. Hello.
I'm watching all of this discussion about shirts, and I happen to remember a Paul's Hardware shirt that I was supposed to own.
Oh,
Jay, I have your Paul's Hardware shirt, but you haven't come to my house in so long.
Have you heard of shipping?
You know what? I have some terrible news though, Kyle. Your shirt's way too big for me now.
Oh, see, now you need to stop working out. You need to stop doing your bike rides until you can fit into that shirt again.
I'll grow back into this shirt just for you.
I hope so. I appreciate that.
He's going to reverse everything he's done.
Well, I kind of have like an EVGA step-up program where if you send me in your old big shirt, I'll send you a new one.
That's a good deal.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that literally would be a step up.
And a size down.
So,
And
yeah. Since I don't have my own merch, I need to represent yours, both of you.
Thank you.
yes.
I appreciate that.
Jay, I'll be getting you a shirt. I'm going to get some new shirts soon, too, and I'll get you one of those as well.
Get on it, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, even Miss J has a Kyle shirt before I have a Paul shirt. What is this?
What?
Pretty popular with the ladies. What can I say?
Okay, I need to place another order very soon then, I think, because I got to get on top of that.
Oh yeah, and Tech Syndicate sending coffee mugs. You gotta get on it, Paul.
I have coffee mugs, too. You want a coffee mug?
Send us okay.
All
I'll
right.
say send. How about we drive the 30 minutes it takes to meet up, and we will exchange mugs and shirts.
Okay. We'll do that soon.
All right.
Do the
I
deed.
just want to crash your stream and tell you guys I need shirts. Legitimately I need clothes, guys.
Did you think about that ahead of time? Like, man, if I work out and lose all this weight, I'm gonna have like my entire wardrobe just annihilated.
Yeah.
Was that a forethought?
The good news, I'm putting new curtains up in the house.
Oh, okay. With the old clothes?
Yeah, denim curtains, cotton curtains, whatever.
Nice.
Fleece curtains.
It's just like
That's
one
good.
shirt that you get to hang across the entire.
See, if you put up
One
enough,
shirt I cut up into segments.
if you put up enough curtains, then you don't need to wear clothes. You can just walk around naked all the time. Problem solved.
I'll just be blinking eyes on camera like a cartoon.
There you go.
So, all right, guys, enjoy your show.
Okay.
Have a good one, Jay.
Thanks, Jay.
JayzTwoCents, everyone.
Yeah, JayzTwoCents.
Give him a hand. Give him a virtual hand in
If you
chat.
guys don't already watch Jay's live show, that happens on
Thursdays.
Thursdays, I'm pretty sure.
Thursdays,
right?
probably, yeah.
TikTok. Because Wednesdays is Steve's show.
That's right. I'm getting confused with Steve.
Wednesdays, Steve's show, Master of Minutes. Thursdays.
And he changed the
is
time to
Tech
3
Talk.
p.m., right? 3 p.m. Pacific time?
They've moved it here and there, so just follow JayzTwoCents on Twitter and he'll tell you
It's
when
3 or
when the live
3:30. I
shows
caught
are.
it last week. It's
All
either
right.
3 or 3:30. Pacific.
But back to the R9 Fury X.
Yes.
So they've been listed online. Some early sales or some pre-sales?
So, Fury X official MSRP was listed at $649. That was the price given by AMD themselves. I almost said NVIDIA. But, of course, as many things go in the industry, the actual pricing will vary from vendor to vendor based on the e-tailer and however they want to mark up the price. And actually, a lot of recent listings have shown that the price range is far higher than the original MSRP. Sources have reported that they've seen this card going listed for anywhere from $670 to $889, even $1,000 in some instances.
$829 on the.
$829? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I have $889 here, but there have already been a few vendors that have been pointed out that have listed the card for about $1,000. So we're talking
That's too much
Titan X
money.
prices for some of these e-tailers.
That's in the
for the Fury
That's
X.
in the EU region,
Right.
including VAT.
Yeah.
And I don't know what VAT is.
I don't either.
I assume when you buy things in Europe, they pour a VAT of something on that comes along.
That
with
is
it.
the only logical
So it's
explanation.
good. So
That's the same conclusion I came to. It's amazing.
that's why I like to buy things in Europe
Right.
for the VAT.
Exactly. So why are they marking it up so high? Well, AMD's actually, for their first round of units, they're only making 30,000 of them for the launch. Once they're sold out, they have to go back to the
That seems
factory
like- that
and make
seems
some
like
more
plenty.
of them. It's not plenty,
All right.
actually.
It's
I'm
not
sure
enough.
many more than... There's a lot more people out there that are going to want to get on one of these
Everyone's
cards.
correcting me. I know it's value-added tax. That's what VAT stands for. I was
No, it's
making
totally a VAT.
Really stupid joke.
I believe you.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's only going to be a very limited quantity of these cards when they first release. Now, granted, it's not going to be the only supply. There's going to be more than the initial allotment for these e-tailers, but that could be a reason why they're being priced so steeply.
So you know what's the steep pricing is like, I want to say for now it's somewhat anomalous. We're going to see like in the week after it launches tomorrow what pricing actually evens out to, if they're
Yeah.
selling out everywhere. I mean, I'm guessing they're going to sell out and for a while until
Yeah.
they get production up that you're going to see really overpriced ones on places like eBay or smaller retailers or that sort of thing.
Right.
One thing, because I actually read a little bit of this article as well, Kyle.
Okay.
Did your homework? Mention is these are not being listed so far on the major retailers like Amazon or Newegg. And Amazon or Newegg, even though they have been known to inflate pricing for highly anticipated products in the past, not quite as much. And they get flamed for like you're doing price fixing and what is the term that they use?
Price gouging.
Price gouging.
Yeah.
They use, which is more of a term that should be used in times of war when people are like necessary products like food or like stuff you need for heating.
It's a bit of an extreme term.
That is price gouging. I need to buy this in order to like live versus something like a graphics card. Yes. They're taking advantage of it.
Well, we got some hardcore enthusiasts out there.
Anyway, though,
they needed to live. Need a Fury X to get my groove on.
So yeah, we'll probably see some higher than average or higher prices than MSRP right at launch.
Yeah.
We'll probably see the stock that goes for sale at major retailers get scooped up quickly because that will be closer to MSRP.
Right.
And we'll probably see really high pricing, in the week or two or month even after launch. I mean, even right now, 980 Ti's are sold out everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard to get a hold of these high-end GPUs when they first launch.
Right. But I think the point to take away here is if you were planning on buying a Fury X card right at launch, like whatever 6 a.m., whatever the embargo lifts and they go on sale tomorrow morning, wait on it. This is what I would recommend a friend.
Well, I would say wait on it if your only options are grossly overpriced. If it's $650 to $680-ish...
If it's $650, go ahead.
Then yeah, go ahead and buy it. But
at the same time, $650 is also the price of the GTX 980 Ti. So until the official benchmark reviews come out, that might sway your decision. Actually seeing the full review once it's hit the market might sway your decision. Because a lot of people, I'm sure, are on the fence versus Team Red versus Team Green with 980 Ti versus Fury X. And if you have that impulse, that impulse drive like I do to just like, I'm just going to buy it, I'm terrible with that sort of thing, I would suggest implementing some willpower and waiting till the full reviews hit. Because we already know how the 980 Ti performs.
And you don't have the Steam refund option where you
don't have the Steam.
Return it within 3 hours.
That's right. There's no AMD refund option. Granted, there is. Actually, you could probably return it if you bought it off of like Amazon or Newegg. But at the same time, I would wait on it. Don't be so hasty with your purchasing, especially with that kind of money.
Dan Halen in chat just said, I'm here staring at my Titan X like I shouldn't have taken that LSD. Sorry, I thought that was pretty funny.
It was deep.
Thanks for watching, Dan.
But yeah, I mean, that's just my opinion.
Here's something that struck me about this, though. I go back to end of 2005, I think, when Xbox launched. Not Xbox One.
First Xbox.
Xbox 360, not the original Xbox.
Right.
And I managed to scoop up 2 of them right at launch.
2 Xboxes?
And I could have basically gotten one of them for free by selling the second one on eBay for about $1,000 because that's what they were going on for. That's what they were going for on eBay.
Okay.
Granted, this was
saying
like
flip them.
Yeah, this was right before the holidays, and there's this frenzy for buying the new consoles and everything. I kind of like to see a similar trend happening with high-end GPUs. Not that I like to see them being grossly overpriced, but I like to see that the demand is such that people think they can sell them for that much. Mm-hmm. Because that means that there's that many people who are that interested in buying this. And if you're that interested in buying this, then you're building a gaming system. There's nothing else that this card is made for.
Right.
So that, to me, at least, if I want to look at the silver lining of this sort of thing, is kind of a positive market trend when it comes to PC gaming.
So you're actually hoping that people will do as you did with the Xbox 360 and like buy multiple cards and resell them at lower values? No,
I'm just saying it's good to see something like this launching and for the market, for like kind of the frenzy of the market to be such that people are maybe willing to spend that much on one sense, but just that there's that much interest in it, I guess, is the positive. Does
that excite you because it's AMD, which we typically haven't seen a lot of that kind of buzz in a long time?
That adds to it even more.
Right.
Is that it's also AMD, and that it's been a while since they had a real like home run when it comes to a product launch on the hardware side. So yeah, I think those are the positive takeaways from it. Granted, the flip side to that is that people who really want this card but only have $650 to spend on it might have a hard time getting it right off the bat. Yeah. But I mean, it's only June, and we still have a few months of summer left, and they're going to keep making these. It's not like a limited edition, so people will be able to get them eventually, I guess.
All right, so if you're planning on upgrading to a high-end card, and you're not sure if you should go Team Green or Team Red, just buy a 980 Ti and a Fury X, and then return whichever one you don't like. Whichever one you like the least.
It's like what my wife does with clothes shopping.
I bet it works for her.
She buys all of them, and then she returns some of them.
90% of them.
No, well, it depends.
No,
she's pretty.
You have that right.
She's pretty good about keeping what she likes and will actually use and that sort of thing.
That's good.
Okay, more Fury X news.
Well, I think you already briefly touched on some of this stuff. I do have some more images of, what was it?
Power color?
Is it the packaging, the retail packaging? I think we went over some of that, right?
We showed the Sapphire one on my side of the show.
Do you have the link? Again? Do you have the link for benchmarks?
I don't think I had the links for benchmarks.
If you look in the Google Doc, there should be a link just under the
preliminary benchmarks in Witcher 3.
Yes.
There we go.
So there have been some pre-leaked benchmarks for the Fury X, and this is all hearsay at this point. It wasn't like from from AMD themselves or whatever. But the benchmarks were run in Witcher 3 at 1440 and 4K on ultra settings respectively for both It wasn't Heaven. They didn't do Heaven.
All right, so here he's running.
It's Witcher 3.
Witcher 3, 2560 by 1440.
Right, 1440 and 4K.
Pretty much everything's set to ultra.
Yeah, maxed out.
Or high as possible.
So at 1440, we got about 86, I think.
About 85 frames per second.
85 FPS, which is pretty good.
For Witcher 3 maxed out at 1440.
Witcher 3's not...
I haven't benchmarked Witcher 3 enough to be like, that's a good score.
But from what I've heard, from all the other numbers I've seen, that's a pretty good score. And at 4K, we're veering towards 50 FPS. We're closer to 50 FPS than we are 40 FPS, which tells me that, at least in this game, it outperforms a 980 Ti. If anyone has a 980 Ti and's run a benchmark in Witcher 3 at ultra settings at 4K, let me know, because I would bet some money that it's lower than the Fury X. That score right there. But that's pretty cool. That's pretty good.
A minimum of 35 and a max of 66. So if you were pairing something like this up with like a FreeSync monitor, this would be a beautiful experience at 4K with a single Fury X, which is pretty good. So
pretty promising. Like I said, this is all kind of hearsay, speculation, but it does give some kind of hope that we are going to be, to some degree, impressed with AMD's latest flagship, which is cool stuff. I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Let us know in chat what you guys think of Fury X.
This is Shadow of Mordor?
Shadow of Mordor.
Wait, what?
What? No, this is Witcher 3, I think.
It is?
Yeah. Pretty sure.
Someone says Shadow of Mordor.
It says Shadow of Mordor?
I haven't played either, so I don't
Witcher of Mordor? They're saying it's Shadow of Mordor, so...
This is not Witcher 3, this is Shadow of Mordor.
But
Thank you for catching that, everyone.
I mean, clearly I haven't played the game yet, but the article said it was Witcher 3, so that might be some kind of mix-up.
Alright, so we're linking to a single post. Let me pull up the whole
Like
thing.
I said, these aren't official... screenshots by any means. This is just kind of, rumored, I suppose.
Huh.
Perhaps it has some weight to it. If it is Shadows of Mordor, I don't think that's as taxing of a game as Witcher 3. And in that case, I would have to retract my statement of saying, like, oh, it's totally going to beat out the 980 Ti.
See,
so bear that in mind.
Here's where I suffer from having not benchmarked on Shadow of Mordor before.
Yeah, who would have thought that would come to bite me in the ass one day? But I don't know. I think we'll leave the rest to imagination until tomorrow when the card is actually out and we see a crap ton of reviews hit the web.
There's going to be reviews all over the place tomorrow, although none from us. And I'm actually kind of interested to see where the reviews come from tomorrow. I know some people who have them. The people I know who have them are...
Probably Linus posted a picture.
Linus has one. I know.
Dimitri?
Slick has been doing some benchmarks with that. Dimitri has one. Jason has one from Forbes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Tech Syndicate has one
I
now,
haven't seen them post anything.
but I
about
had
it.
heard about them getting one, so I don't know if that might happen maybe just after the launch date.
I mean, yeah, limited quantity, right? 30,000 units isn't that much for a big launch as buzzworthy as this one.
And I'm gonna
that's pretty
do my
slim
best.
pickings.
I'm gonna try to get one.
Me
if
too.
I can,
Me too.
but we'll see.
Ed from Sapphire, if you're watching this,
Is Sapphire Ed in chat? I don't know.
read my message. I hit you up, bro.
I didn't tweet your half of the show. Kyle.
Let's go, beef. Ain't got no beef.
All right, so
All right.
what else we got?
So, moving on to some other tech news, particularly in the realm of gaming. You've probably all heard by now that Batman Arkham Knights for the PC, the PC port has not been up to par.
Did you want to show these retail?
No, you've already, whatever, it's all the same crap.
Talked about that too
It's already the same crap. But
Right.
a lot of you guys are probably already familiar with the PC port of Arkham Knights not living up to expectations at all. There have been plenty of articles.
They have been if they've been following like Twitter or news feeds today. But if you haven't, not everyone does that.
True, of course.
Maybe they've only come here to find the news out.
That's right, because we are the source.
All right, so Batman Arkham Knight
Takes from all the other
much
sources.
anticipated sequel to Batman Arkham Origin or Arkham Origins,
Arkham City.
Arkham City, whatever the heck the previous one. I didn't play them. That's why I don't.
Come on,
know
Paul.
But very anticipated. There's been a lot of buzz behind it. It launched today for all platforms, if I'm not mistaken. And whereas I'm sure the console people are playing away and having a good old time, the PC port has been plagued with issues.
Yeah.
And it's funny because this is a GameWorks title.
Yes.
Which is NVIDIA's GameWorks initiative to like work with the game developers and everything and make sure that works really well on NVIDIA hardware and it sucks on AMD hardware. That's not really what they do, but they're accused of doing. But there's been problems reported not just on AMD hardware, but also on NVIDIA hardware.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's a crappy PC port.
Right.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. So this looks pretty bad on both the so first off, Rocksteady is the main developer for Arkham Knights, but this port in particular was not done by them. It was done by a third party known as Iron Galaxy Studios, which is like a small 12-man studio who doesn't have much experience with making PC ports. The biggest notch they have under their belt is that they did the PC port. I'm sorry, the Xbox 360 and PS3 port for Destiny.
We have a correction in chat. Just to clarify here, and I wanted to thank Henrizzle. It's Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, and Arkham Knight. That's the sequence of Batman games.
So Arkham City, Arkham Origins,
Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, Arkham Knight.
Okay, thank you.
Arkham.
Thank you for clearing that out. Arkham. All right, so it sounds like Pac-Man. But the point here is that the port was done by developers inexperienced in creating PC ports.
We can possibly assume that based on the list of developers' names that they've gotten from the credits at the end of the game.
And the game itself.
And their work history. And, of course, the game itself.
Right. Because it's pretty god-awful. It's probably the worst that I've seen in a long time. So first off, and this has really nothing to do with how bad the port is, but the game is locked on PC. It's locked at 30 FPS.
Mm-hmm. That's fixable. You
that
can
is
go
fixable.
in and do an INI adjustment.
Of course, but if you would allow the INI adjustment, why wouldn't you just integrate that into the game?
Because it's a crappy PC port.
Exactly, which proves my original point.
Yes.
Additionally, also, if you were to enable it for like 60 FPS, it's just so poorly optimized. This has all been reported from countless and countless reviews and threads on Steam and whatnot, on the community forums, is that it's so poorly optimized, even at 60 FPS, enabling that INI file to run at that frame rate, you're still dipping so far below that. Even people with Titan X's and 980 Ti's in their systems, which, mind you, this is an NVIDIA hardware optimized game using GameWorks. So even people with NVIDIA's flagship GPU are seeing terrible frame rate dips. That's creating a crap ton of stuttering and just a really unenjoyable gameplay experience, which is just unacceptable. I mean, even if they were to fix it with a patch, it's still it's not really harboring any trust with this particular third-party developer. Additionally, stuttering with SLI is very prevalent, and actually
listed in the actual patch notes.
Yes, it's in the patch notes.
So
yes,
the game-ready drivers.
Right. So much for those.
Ready for gaming.
So much for those.
Unless you use SLI.
Yes.
And then you're kind of...
So it almost would have made more sense for them to wait to enable SLI support until they had kind of nailed that down, but I feel like they kind of jumped the gun a bit in this case. Also, there's no Crossfire yet enabled, and if Crossfire performed even worse than SLI, then I don't blame them for enabling that, because that would have just given them even more heat. So yeah, if you guys in chat have downloaded the game, you were excited to play the game on PC, and were completely and utterly disappointed, or not, let us know in chat, because we're curious to hear your individual stories. Obviously, the majority of gamers that have played this game on PC have kind of set the bar for the type of experience you can expect, but things like textures on a lot of the characters, like texture models on your enemies. Apparently Batman and the Batmobile look great, but the dudes that you're kicking the shit out of look horrible in certain scenarios, where you can just literally see like 8-bit blocks on their head, and it just like the detail resolution is so bad that it really pulls you out of the experience, out of the game, which is like the last thing any gamer, especially on PC, who prides themselves on having that immersive experience, wants to see.
Well, especially if you pre-ordered this game. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, if I think we've done at least a bit of talking down about pre-ordering games and that kind of thing. I mean, we generally don't recommend it, but here's another prime example of like people who pre-ordered this game and bought it so they could play on day one and everything like that.
Yeah.
Like you're having a very disappointing experience right now.
Right.
The other thing is that that I was reading in some of the articles is that if you look at previous versions of the game, the graphics don't look like that much better, like they're not that much improved or anything like that.
Yep.
And yet this game benchmarks way lower than even the last generation of the game on the same hardware.
Right.
Which is, again, the indication of a terrible PC or a terrible console to PC port.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of funny because just the other week when we did a show, we were kind of in a way poking fun at the whole Steam refund thing, where like, oh, this is hurting indie developers, and people can just buy a game, buy a really small short game, beat it in an hour or two, and still refund the game, and indie developers lose tons of money because of it. That's still true, but we're starting to see the value in such a system with games or ports like this, like Arkham Knights, where you have these expectations, you want to play it on day one, and it falls so short of your expectation that it just kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and you don't even really want to play the game anymore. Whether it's a moral thing an ethics thing that you have with the developer, it's personal now. They got your hopes up and they just totally butchered it. That's Steam refund for the win in that instance, more or less.
That's what it's made for.
Yeah. So hopefully the game gets patched soon, and these texture issues and these detail issues can be repaired via a pretty hefty patch, I'm sure. But I feel bad for anyone, just an average gamer who spent the full $60 premium for a game like this, who's expecting a full experience, and just is completely let down by the end result. So hopefully that gets fixed. You guys.
Right. So we have at least one member of chat, Polog, who is saying he's playing at 1080p over 70 FPS with a 970.
Okay.
He's running with 3/4 of the GameWorks functions turned on, I believe.
Okay.
From what I saw, and he's saying it's not terrible. It's not the best, but it's not that bad. So,
all right.
It's.
I
wanted to point that out since
definitely
he's playing the game itself.
And no one's confirmed that this has been universal for all gamers, for all people that have played this game. Just a good majority of them is what it seems like is the impression that I'm getting.
Here's another link from chat that Antilogy just posted, which is an Imager post.
It looks better on PS4.
Which is showing that it looks better on PS4 than PC.
Wow.
notice the difference in the rain textures and that
See,
kind of thing.
see, this is what's frustrating about bad PC ports is that it gives ammunition to console fanboys as to why consoles are better, because you PC gamers get your unlocked frame rates and you get your higher resolutions, but we can play the game on day one.
That was from Antilogy25, by the way. That link. So
thank you, Antilogy.
Thanks for posting that, man.
But that whole argument, like we can play, like the console gamers can play on day one when the game's released. It's good to go. You PC gamers have to wait for patches and crap like that, and we shouldn't have to. The truth is, it should be a finished product by the time it gets to us, and it should work and flow like a well-oiled machine. Ports like this are frustrating when you're a huge advocate like we are of PC gaming, and you want to show the people around you that also game maybe on consoles that, hey, look, there's something good here. There's something worth maybe spending the little extra bit of money to build a gaming PC. And they see something like this and they go, well, why would I after this kind of fiasco? And it's apparent. Even us PC gamers are willing to admit like this is a fatal flaw in the system, which bums you out sometimes, but
yeah.
Hopefully they can turn it around somehow.
I hope so too, but it's still disappointing.
Yeah.
Okay,
so let us know what you guys think in chat of Arkham Knights and how you're gonna refund it on Steam. Let's just move on to AMD once again. We're talking a lot about AMD, but AMD's got a lot going on right now. Not only did they unveil their Fury line of GPUs at E3 this year, just a week or two ago. But they've also unveiled their Project Quantum mini PC, which is capable of doing 4K gaming, featuring a Fury X GPU. The kicker here, and what makes this article interesting...
Do you love it when you click to make an image bigger?
That moment when
Whoa!
Oh, and then it's like completely blown
screen.
up. Oh, it's too big now. So the kicker here is that in this mini PC that AMD's developed or put together, that's using supposedly AMD parts, it's featuring an Intel chip.
Yes.
It's using a 4790K, it's a Core i7, Devil's Canyon, Intel CPU in this fully AMD branded mini PC. So a lot of people raised an eyebrow, obviously.
Now we looked at this last week.
We did.
As we were watching the video,
we were speculating.
We kind of confirmed. I mean, it's an LGA CPU and that it's
Intel.
Not an AMD CPU.
Right.
So that was at least somewhat obvious from the beginning.
Yeah.
Dual Fury GPUs, Strider's pointing out actually that it has in here.
Oh, nice. Okay. That's right.
2 in this.
Thank you, Strider.
Now, sorry, go ahead.
The thing is I think the reason why we kind of knew that it was going to be an Intel CPU is because, well, first off, it just made the most sense. They consistently outperform even the highest end AMD CPUs right now. AMD's kind of taken a back seat in that realm in the industry as far as CPU performance goes, as well as like the heat output per watt and whatnot. Especially in the smaller form factor PC like this one, it might be not the best idea to have a scalding hot AMD CPU in there, because they generate a lot of heat and they're very power hungry compared to Intel CPUs that perform a lot better. So the reason why AMD decided to do this, and they actually have some representative leaving this big quote in response to all the community feedback. And I'll just read the quote really briefly. It says, in the case of buyers, this is straight from AMD, in the case of buyers for system like Project Quantum, there is a clear preference for choice. They're not interested in a narrow range of computing solutions. They want to pick and choose the balance of components that they want, that are hand-tailored in a world of off-the-rack suits. So basically what they're saying is, we listen to the community, and the community wants freedom of choice. They want Intel. They want Intel CPUs. Basically, well, I don't know. That's kind of maybe the subtext that you could interpret. But what they're saying is we didn't want to lock enthusiasts into a certain platform, one way or another. They are embracing the essence of PC DIY community, in that you have the freedom to choose which parts you want to include. You don't have to have a fully built NVIDIA system or a fully built Intel system or a fully built AMD. You can pick and choose what you like about each one so that it's perfectly tailored for your needs. And that's kind of what they're saying here is, maybe AMD CPUs aren't the best for this kind of mini PC that we've made. So we're gonna include a chip from our competitors because we know that the community would prefer that. So I don't know. I this gains points for AMD in my eyes, that they have been so open-minded, I guess. Because I feel like Project Quantum, if it goes on sale or whatever, whenever it does, probably wouldn't sell as well with like a bulldozer CPU, as opposed to like a Core i7.
It would not.
So,
it absolutely would not.
So I think AMD is just playing it smart here. Instead of being, prideful. Instead of being prideful, they're actually kind of dropping their pride a little bit and saying, yeah, they're good CPUs. We're going to use them.
I had zero surprise. I was not in the least bit surprised seeing last week when we saw the socket, seeing this article at all, because I've been doing reviews on AMD graphics cards for several years, and if you look at AMD's the materials that they provide to reviewers, like the reviewers' guides and their benchmarks that they put out there for you to do comparisons of, they have been using Intel CPUs for those comparison numbers for quite some time.
Yeah.
Because the FX 8350, the top end, well, I mean, I guess there's other versions that they overclocked more, but the FX 8350 launched in 2012, in October 23rd, 2012.
Right.
That is almost 3 years old.
Super dated.
That's very old, and the architecture goes even back further than that. So
right.
AMD doesn't really have a competitive high-end processor. They don't have native PCI Express Gen 3 support.
Until then, hopefully.
At least unless you go to some of their APUs, which aren't as high performance.
Yeah.
So this made perfect sense to me. I wasn't surprised at all. People kind of made a hubbub about it because like, oh, AMD's brand new like high-end thing, and they had to use an Intel processor. Yes, they have. AMD has even been pretty forthright with this as well. We're really looking forward to Zen. That's really all it's about. Zen is supposed to be AMD's kind of pushback in the x86 space, and when they're going to hopefully make themselves competitive again. And we're really hoping that kind of like with, hopefully like with Fury, that they have been working on it for a while and that they have an ace up their sleeve to drop on everyone. But for the time being, they're going to use Intel processors to get the most out of their graphics cards.
I wouldn't even be surprised if they chose an Intel CPU simply because their current flagship CPU was bottlenecking the Fury X.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got two Fury X's.
I guarantee that's what happened.
I mean, I did a video recently of two GTX 980 Ti's and SLI that were bottlenecking my 5820K, which is a 6-core enthusiast grade Intel chip that's far better than AMD's flagship Bulldozer CPU. So imagine two Fury X's in Crossfire completely going to be bottlenecked by that CPU. I mean, they can't even you can't get 1440 numbers that are that impressive at that rate. So, yeah, that makes sense. But moving on. Let's go on to the next article here, which is about SSDs. This is the last tech article. I promise. Then we're going to move on to other things. But this is about SSDs getting really cheap.
The price is in a free fall.
They are falling fast, folks.
That's amazing.
You can find SSDs today for 35 cents a gig. 35 cents a gig.
That's pretty good.
Which, I don't know, a year or two? I'd say 2 years ago, they were like, what? Like, oh my gosh, it's $1 a gig. They've gone down so fast and so much in the last few months and years that we're starting to see predictions, like educated guesses, that SSDs will actually be more affordable and more economical than hard drives by the year 2016, by next year. By next year, SSDs might be more affordable than hard in terms of price per capacity.
Okay.
Which seems like a stretch right now, but if you look at the graphs in some of these articles and you look at kind of like, if you look at the numbers and you see how fast the fall off rate is for the price of flash NAND or NAND flash memory, it's just dropping at an exponential rate. And the big reason for that is because of just the yield, the die yields have been so good lately, especially with like 3D NAND and all that sort of thing.
Yep.
It's just dropping the prices even faster. So there's also a couple interesting things here, like SanDisk planning on making 8 terabyte SSDs this year, and 16 terabyte drives next year.
That's cool.
Pretty intense stuff. Other sources are saying that SSD capacities will reach 30 terabytes by the year 2018. That's kind of hard to imagine.
That's also fun.
But that is very fun.
I mean, this has been a long time coming, but it's gonna happen. There's gonna be this changeover.
Right.
I think there's kind of an existing, even still now, there's an existing kind of hesitance to like switch over to SSDs. When they were first coming out, there was this idea that SSDs weren't as reliable, and they weren't in situations. And they've come a long way since then, but I think there's still that kind of turnover that still needs to happen for people to kind of start seeing SSDs as being reliable like mechanical hard drives.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like what I'm interested to see in the next couple of years, especially seeing this report and seeing that these capacities might be coming so soon, is how WD and Seagate will respond.
Yeah.
What they have in the pipeline and that kind of thing, because I mean, WD still doesn't have a good SSD product on the market. They
Right.
have some kind of hybrid stuff they work with. Same with Seagate, although Seagate has acquired, I think Seagate owns SandForce now. SandForce went to LSI, and then I think Seagate bought them.
Okay.
I hope I could be wrong about that. I'm sorry, but
Makes sense.
But yeah, I'm curious to see what these existing mass storage manufacturers have planned.
Yeah.
Because they could get left in the dust, and I don't
Right.
know. I don't want to see that happen because.
Of course.
Well, I don't know. I guess if they get left in the dust, then they deserve it. Because, because they've
cruel.
They've been
It's
the
harsh,
big
man.
storage manufacturers for a while, and everyone needs storage.
Yeah.
So
I feel
yeah.
like at that point, like talking like a decade, from now, I think companies like Seagate and WD are going to have to step up and start playing the game and actually start making like really good SSDs or competitively priced SSDs that can perform well on par with the competition.
Covert Camper is pointing out that Seagate does make SSDs. They had a 600 series that they made, and they had a
haven't
600
in a while.
Pro series. I don't know if they still did the Enterprise one, but they've discontinued the 600 series at least.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they have any native SSD product again. If they do, it's probably a rebrand from another SSD manufacturer that they brought in, but I haven't looked at that most recently.
Or no one's really speculating on the price of mechanical drives. I mean, it's possible that the price of mechanical drives could drop even further to kind of compensate for the lowering price of SSDs. So even though these SSD prices will plummet, you still might see pushback from companies like WD and Seagate, where they're like, well now we're offering 10 terabyte hard drives at $100, and at that point, they can't really compete.
I like
with
the 600 series from Seagate.
It's a good drive.
It used I think an ASMedia controller.
It
was a very good performing drive, but I think Kickstarter is loading all weird. It's like I feel like WD and Seagate, because WD came out with a blue series of SSDs like 3 years ago, and they were awful. They were overpriced, and their performance was bad.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of got a stigma attached that the mechanical hard drive manufacturers can't do a good SSD for whatever reason. I don't know, but yeah.
It's the mechanical curse. But anyway.
This isn't right, though. Why isn't Kickstarter loading? Oh,
there you go. All right, so let's move on to the next segment. Switching gears here. It's to fund or not to fund. I'm bringing it back. I don't think it's been around for the last few weeks now. So if you guys are familiar with this segment, it's basically I've gathered a couple, 3 to be exact, different campaigns on Kickstarter that we're going to take a look at. Yeah. See all the features, see what's going on, see how much they're going for, and we're going to analyze and kind of give our opinions on whether or not we would fund these campaigns with our own money. So, first off is the Yeair, the Quadrocopter of the future, and I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I highly recommend you watch the video. Paul and I were busting up earlier watching their campaign video.
Is like the translator.
The translator is, it sounds like it could be like Liam Neeson or something.
It's fascinating.
It's hilarious.
I don't know if you guys can hear it.
Yes, but it's pretty epic. Go ahead and watch that right now. This is a quadrocopter of the future, as they're proclaiming it to be. It's unlike most quadrocopters, which use just pure electrical motors. This one's actually using a combination of electrical and combustible motors, so it does actually accept fuel. It has like a. That's the guy. He looks very creepy. He looks like.
I was saying he looks like a Bond villain earlier.
A Bond villain, absolutely.
That's kind of the impression I got.
Yeah. So this not only takes battery, but it also runs on fuel.
The video is also running all choppy, so it makes him look like he's like.
Is that the video?
I think it's the video playback. Yeah, it's. I'm watching it on here. It's really all over the place.
That's so weird. I don't know. I don't know what company or what accent they have. I don't know if they're German or whatever, but it's kind of freaking me out. But at any rate, 1.5 liter fuel tank for putting gasoline in. Because it doesn't just run on electricity, you actually have 60 minutes of flight time, which is the most I've ever seen on a drone.
Wait, what's it run on? Gas?
Electric and fuel.
Oh.
Batteries and fuel. It's a hybrid type of thing. Because of that, it also has a top speed of 100 kilometers per hour or 62 miles per hour. It's almost as fast as a cheetah. The feet can actually fold upwards, like the landing gear can kind of tuck inward to kind of lower the wind resistance, so it can pick up speed a lot easier in the air. The payload, it can actually pick up or hoist 11 pounds of weight.
That's pretty impressive. That's the most impressive thing about this quadrocopter, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just being able to, I don't know, put like a picnic basket on there.
Playback is so choppy.
Yeah, it's really, really bad. Whoever edited this video needs to...
No, it's not the video. It's just whoever built this streaming system.
What? What do you mean the playback's choppy?
I'm just kidding.
It's using Intel integrated graphics. Look, it's a mini FTX system, all right? I have the black magic capture card in there. I didn't have room for a discrete. We're using integrated, but it should be able to play that video.
It uses nitro fuel,
RC. It's all your fault. Other things, it's got follow me mode, it's got auto return start and landing features, it's got a Wi-Fi cam to your mobile device. It's all starting at 1,400 euro.
Okay.
For anyone else in the world who doesn't live in the UK, that's $1,562 USD. And if you don't live in the United States, I can't help you. Google can. So, I don't know. I think it looks pretty cool. Probably my first pick on this list. I've been wanting a drone for a while. I mean, I've been kind of getting the itch, not too strongly.
1,500 on your first one?
No, I was hoping to get a review sample.
Oh, of course.
Of course. I'll just Barnacles it.
Oh, it's got autonomous flight. That's kind of cool.
I'll Jerry it. Yeah, they have a mind of their own. Skynet in the making, folks. Skynet in the making. All right, so let's move on to the next one, which is the Pocket NC 5-axis CMC mill for your desktop.
I like this one.
It's a mill. It's a freaking mill.
It's a CNC.
For your computer.
Look at it drilling into that brick there.
Yeah. It's
and making brick holes.
It's like way smaller than most CNC mills you might see.
Wait, is that a brick or is that wood?
That's wood.
Oh, it's wood.
So
I thought it was brick.
Basically, this works with materials that have a hardness up to aluminum. So as long as it's equal to or softer than aluminum, it can pretty much craft whatever you program it to. Those materials include wax, wood, plastics, and of course aluminum. And it's going for $3,300.
Look how many axes it has.
Yeah. So you can see how it rotates. Most typical drill mills don't have that rotate feature. That's a whole nother axis that it has access to. Hence the 5-axis.
I didn't realize how small it was until the guy's hands came in to change up.
It's small.
I was like, it's so tiny.
It's small.
It's cute.
Heather, my fiance, her dad's dad, her grandpa created a huge, like, multi-million-dollar company where they just built mill machines, and they sold these machines to like Formula One companies, like to make cars, to make like rotors for cars and things like that.
Why don't we have any of those in here?
Because what I was getting to, Paul, is that you would probably need this entire room to fit one of those machines. They are massive. I've even seen one of them in her grandpa's shop. Her grandpa like still works. It's crazy. He still like has a business. Is like the mill machine. Get this, Paul. You see that like little structure that they had on there that it was like drilling bits out of?
Yes.
I've seen mill machines that you could fit a car on top of. Like the frame of a car. Like an SUV. And then it picks it up and moves it around, and the mill just like drills holes and like cuts out the windshield, space for it or whatever. They get pretty intense. So
that is pretty intense.
So yeah, and obviously this is like a very, very miniaturized version of that.
That would mean that it would be large enough to pick up a human.
Multiple humans. Why would you do that?
And then rotate them around. And
don't.
Drill holes.
Don't fuck the human with your dirty drill. What kind of orifices?
I didn't say sexually.
I'm
more
sure.
Like a torture type. Extremely painful.
You're a sick puppy, Paul.
I don't know why.
Never given you this drill for Christmas.
Why would you even do that, though?
I don't know.
Hey, it's gotten darker.
But there it is. If you guys are into that sort of thing, you can program your own things to make. It's like a 3D printer on steroids.
And the base price for this one, if you want to get one, is $3,300.
Yep. You got to be serious about it.
Pocket NC5. You could not fit this in your pocket.
Yeah, that's the marketing jargon.
Marketing
BS.
All right.
And finally, the next to fund or not to fund is this Bartesian. It's the Bartesian, the ultimate cocktail machine.
I want to say it's Bartesian.
Yeah, Bartesian. You're right.
Is that right? So this is like a Keurig.
Well, it's like artisan, right? Artisan, isn't that a word?
Bartesian? Maybe, I don't know. It's like a Keurig for cocktails.
It's a Keurig for cocktails.
It's a cocktail Keurig.
So you basically have these, see the 4 cylinders, like 4 liquid cylinders around it? It makes cocktails using either vodka, gin, rum, or tequila. I think those are the only ones that they are supporting right now, which are the 4 main ones. I would have liked to see whiskey on there for sure, but it's a good start. Now, exactly like Paul said, it's a Keurig for cocktails. So instead of having all
that bartender with the tats.
Instead of having all the separate ingredients, you have these little packets or these little pouches that have liquid inside of them that are pretty much pre-mixed or pre-assembled cocktail ingredients that you just basically mix in with the actual alcohol. So it's got all the bitters you would need, all the liqueur, whatever it is. The guy looks very...
Wait, we have to get another look at that. That look to the camera.
Well, do you know the context of that?
Give the camera a slow look. Yeah.
Well, do you know the context of that?
No.
The voiceover saying you have adjustable strength. So you can go anywhere from 0 to whatever, and you just hear the guy clicking it up. Like he's clicking the strength up. He's like basically increasing the strength.
Is that what kept playing earlier?
Yes, the beeping noise.
Good.
Right.
That was annoying.
Very annoying, but well executed in the video. So it's got adjustable strength. It makes cocktails with vodka, gin, rum, and tequila. Uses flavor capsules. These flavor capsules in liquid form mixed with the alcohol. You can mix a cocktail in seconds. I don't like the name, Bartesian.
Yeah, it needs a better name.
It needs a better name. I mean, you're thinking cocktails that are made easy and fast. I'm thinking like Easy Cocks or
the guy looks
maybe not that.
The
but
guy looks like he's ready to GFAP in the back.
I'm gonna GFAP in this Easy Cock right here, guys. Check this out. Yes, he's looks very young and successful. He's got a lot of money. But it's going to be $300 to kickstart in order for you to actually get one of these units, along with their included 12 flavor capsules.
Just learn to mix a drink.
That's what I would say. That's what I was thinking too. This kind of ruins the fun for making a cocktail. Like, I'm not a cocktail aficionado by any means. I'm more of a beer guy, obviously. But part of the fun of making a cocktail is making the damn cocktail. Buying the ingredients. And I get it, if you're hosting a big event or something, maybe it's the more efficient way to go.
Yeah.
But I feel like the other thing is that when you're making a cocktail, you're usually doing it in the comfort of your own home for friends who, you're at a party or whatever, you're hosting some kind of thing at your house, and you want to like entertain, you're making cocktails. It's all casual. The reason why it works for a Keurig is because when you're getting coffee in the morning, you're on your way to work.
Yeah,
you're in a hurry.
Busy.
You gotta get the hell out of the house and get to work before your boss creams you again, or you gotta get the kids to school, right? You're in a rush. That's why the Keurig works so well. The cocktail thing, on the other hand, it's a leisurely activity. It's a leisurely task that doesn't really need this kind of expedited, I don't know, in my opinion, this expedited workaround. So I personally wouldn't spend my money on it.
Yeah, it's like I'm just looking for something to slip the roofies into and then move on.
Right?
You know?
Is there a roofie capsule? Is there a roofie flavor capsule?
That's possible.
It's roofie.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, so which one are you funding this time around, Cal?
I'm gonna fund the Yeair.
The Yeair?
The quadrocopter of the future.
I want the Pocket NC.
I know you do.
Axis CM.
I know you do.
Because I think that thing's pretty badass.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like some people in chat were saying it's like a reverse 3D printer.
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of fun.
That is kind of true.
But yeah, there's amazing things you could do with that.
Yes. So thank you for that Kickstarter.
Cell says thank you. He needs this. He's in a rush in the morning and doesn't have time to mix it.
So he can go to his job at Alcoholics Anonymous. I don't.
Yes.
I think of a job that would be conducive
to
having your morning cocktail. What do you do that's so stressful, Cell? You're like the chillest guy I know. Maybe that's why. Maybe he's just drinking cocktails all day, and that's why he's so relaxed.
To mellow him out before the AA meeting. All right. It's time for Pimp My PC.
It's Pimp My PC.
Yeah.
Hey, the blatant ripoff segment from Matt Phillies. Pimp My Setup. Go ahead and check him out at Swashin TV on YouTube if you haven't already. Here is where Paul and I go ahead and rate your rigs. You guys send in pictures. Thank you for sending those entries in. We're going to take a look at them and give you some help.
All right, so we have rigs from 8 people.
8!
And we don't have rigs from about 80 other people
who we told we would feature.
Who will now get mad at us on Twitter for not showing their rigs.
Yes. The key to being featured on Pimp My PC is to only send in your pictures only tweet me your pictures of your rig when I ask for them. Because if you tweet me them like 5 days before we do the show, then I can't go back in time that far in Twitter. Like, it'll actually cap me. It's like, nope, you cannot go back any further to view your recent tweets, to see your photos.
It's gotten so much darker.
It's got, what? Yes, it has. Do you want me to turn the light on?
No.
We're okay.
We're okay.
We'll just be shrouded in mystery. So, yes, on that note, let's carry on. We've got Hippolito. Hippolito.
Is that how it's pronounced?
Hippolito.
Hippolito Garcia.
I'm guessing it's Latin of some sort.
All right.
So he's got a system. I don't know what case this is, Paul. Do you have any idea?
That is an EVGA case.
Is it the Hadron?
I believe that's the Hadron.
Okay.
Or the Hardon.
The Hardon.
Depending on if you're...
That's what I was going to say. Is like, it might be the Hardon. So from what I understand, I've never built in it personally, but it's a really tight and compact case, which is part of its charm, of course. And it looks like you've actually done a fairly good job of routing the cables. What is that on the bottom? Is that your 24-pin ATX?
This is the power supply.
No, the cable that's going all the way around.
This one is the 24-pin ATX, yes.
Yeah, so I like how you kind of routed that around. I mean, I don't know the case very well. If you do, Paul, is there any room behind that motherboard tray?
I haven't actually built in it.
Okay.
I've done a video on it.
Okay.
Just like an unboxing kind of thing back when I was still at Newegg. And yeah, it's very small. I mean, the problem is you've got the specialized power supply at the bottom, so your options for those cables are really, really, really slim. Like,
but there's nothing behind the tray to.
I don't think there's. No, I don't think you have space back there.
Okay. So the EVGA was just going for pure compactness and portability with this design. So there's not much room for cable management. That being said, I think you've done a pretty good job. It looks fairly clean. I do see that the fan on your CPU cooler is on the top, so I'm wondering if it's blowing air down or if it's pulling air up.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's pulling air up, and maybe you just couldn't fit the fan physically on the bottom to push it, and that's why you have it in pull. Because typically I see a lot of people, going with push. They say it gets like a temp or two better performance.
No, that's actually blowing air down as far as I can tell.
Okay, so if it's blowing air down...
Well, I could be wrong.
Remember, if you don't know for sure...
It's got the cross braces across on the top, and I can't tell or not.
So if you have it in pull, good for you. If you have it in push, I would flip it around.
Yeah.
And if you can possibly put the fan on bottom of the heatsink and push it upward towards the ventilation at the top of the case, that'd be the ideal situation. But I understand it's a really tight, compact case. You might not actually have room down there to put the fan on the bottom of the heatsink. So other than that, nice. Looks good.
Yeah, pretty good work there. I mean, like Kyle said, there's not a whole lot you can do with this. I would say, sleeving the cables or something like that, but I think the only way you could actually do that would be to pull the power supply out and do custom sleeving.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of work. That's
right.
A bit, if you're really into it, then go for something like that. But hey, also nice G-Skill Trident X memory in there too.
Well done.
Careful, that stuff will cut you.
Thanks, Hipolito.
Hipolito.
Next up, we got Lan. What's up, Lan? I'm going to try to blow through these a little quicker.
All right.
Sometimes we lag on here. So you've got a pretty intensely green and black system here, which I do like. I like black and green. I love it.
This is a Z97AR from Asus, or Z97A? Is there? I don't think there's an AR, is there?
No.
There's an i7 4790K, Asus Strix GTX 970, overclocked to 1350, an XSPC Raystorm 750. Wait, what?
750EX.
EX. Oh, that's the water block.
Right.
Green LED water block and reservoir, UV green water tubing, EVGA supernova power supply, Cougar green LED, 140mm, 120mm fans, Corsair Vengeance. All right, so yeah. Did you have any immediate?
My immediate thing is cable management. It looks a little bit all over the place. What is that? Is that your 8-pin EPS connector? That's for your CPU. That's just going all the way across your motherboard. There's definitely a grommet that's kind of behind your 240 radiator there.
There's a bunch of pictures here.
There's got to be a better grommet.
Oh, he's asking. There's a Corsair 750D that he's, or no, a remeshed
front panel.
So this Corsair released the Airflow Edition 750.
Right.
And he's asking about that.
Check your temps. If they look, if your GPU temps are like in the 70s or something, they're not hitting 80. They probably shouldn't be. Then you're fine. Then don't worry about the open airflow option. You're doing just fine. You've got 2 of those intake fans at the bottom of your case, which I really like. I really love bottom-mounted intake fans.
Yeah, there's lots of intake on this.
I think with that, you're good to go, man. You don't need any more open airflow. But cable management could use some improvement. I do like the green theme again, but I think the cables, especially the one on top, is the one that gets me. The other ones are almost acceptable compared to that one that's just kind of going. It's like cutting your motherboard in two in a way.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't look very nice.
Also, your water, the tubing for your water cooling loop is a little long. That could be tightened up. That would make it seem a little bit less haphazard. It's sagging around a little bit. Mm-hmm. But use your cable management for your cable management spacing. You should have a space like in the top left up here to route like that supplemental CPU, the 8-pin. You should be able to bring it back through there. I don't know if you brought it across because you have sleeving extensions and you wanted to show that off, but I don't think that's the best. I would still rather just having it come down straight from the top.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, yeah, you could tidy up a lot of the cables down at the bottom of the case. I think that would help clean things up a lot.
Right.
And if you're thinking about redoing the loop or draining it and fixing things up, getting that tubing cut to length a little bit so that it seems a little bit more deliberate where it's going.
Yeah.
I think that would definitely help out a lot.
I agree.
Yep.
Thank you, Lan.
All right.
Thanks for the system. Next up, we got Rome. Rome sends in his build on Twitter as well, and this is in a Define R4, I believe. He's got, let's see, Corsair 105.
He put a PC part picker list.
What? No, I didn't.
Corsair H105 cooler, i5 4690K,
oh, he did.
Z97E motherboard, G-Skill Ripjaws X series 2x4 gig kit. So pretty minimal in the memory there. I would get more memory.
It's a 2x4?
2x4 gig, at least according to the PC part picker build. An 850 Evo, 250 gig, a Crucial MX100, so a couple SSDs in there, as well as a WD
Why do you think the
Caviar.
memory's too short?
It's not short, that it's only 8 gigs.
But I mean, it's a...
I mean, it's not bad. I'm looking at this list and I'm thinking what could
compared to everything else.
Yeah, what maybe could be improved upon. I mean, it's not bad at all for a 4690K. Don't get me wrong. 8 gigs is fine.
Yeah.
That's just one of the things that I would admit. But I also think too much about video editing, so that's probably another part of it. Okay.
Yeah. So the first thing that strikes me is that you've got, let's see, one...
Wait, real quick. Did we ever say hi to Kitty, to Angela, Nocturne Kitty? Hi.
No.
Thanks for joining
us. Hi, Kitty.
I said some shout out to some mods earlier, and I don't think she was there, and she was saying she was really tired earlier, and I don't know if she did. But hi, Kitty. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for modding.
Yes. Oh yeah, good job with the mods too.
Yes, absolutely. They're killing it. So first off, with the cable management, it's just kind of all over the place. You've got fans coming from the left side of your H105 radiator. So you got cables coming from the left side of your H105 radiator, and they're like, again, cutting across your motherboard. I mean, it just looks awful. It just looks bad. I mean, you have grommets there. You're paying for the grommets in the motherboard tray. That's a feature that a company has to, like, they have to cut it out, and they put, like, a rubber grommet there that costs you extra money. So use it, because you paid for it.
So route your supplemental CPU power just straight up and back behind the motherboard tray. Like, any cable should be going from where they plug in on the motherboard to their nearest motherboard tray grommet.
Yeah.
That should be the only length of cable you have back there, and then anything else, pull that back. Not like tight, but enough to get the slack out of it, and then tie the stuff back behind the motherboard tray.
Right.
That's what you need to do with all the cables that are going on down towards the bottom here.
Yeah.
And,
the bottom especially, like all those front panel connectors, like the HD audio way off to the left. I think there's a cutout on the Definer 4 that allows you to just
you may or may not be able to tuck it right back in there.
If not, it should be going in the power supply grommet.
You can go right through
and
here
not the
power
one nearest
supply.
to the video card.
That'd be good.
Also, try to consolidate your drives. I know you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 visible ones that I can see there. You might not need that lower drive cage at all. If you put that SSD up to the upper drive cage, then you can probably remove the bottom one altogether and open up some more airflow instead of having that drive cage blocking that bottom fan, that bottom intake fan at the front of your case. You just open it up, gives you more fresh, healthy airflow to your video card and other components.
Or you could possibly, there should be SSD mounts behind the motherboard tray on this, right?
Yes, that too.
You could possibly move them back there. Does this define R4 or R5?
I want to say R4.
If it's R4, you might have to remove your whole motherboard to do that, so that might not be worth it. But yeah, that would be a possibility.
What does it say in the part picker?
R4?
Question. Yeah, it's R4.
Yeah, it's an R4. So maybe too much work just for that. But if you were going to redo everything and do rebuilds, moving SSD
do it. It'll be fun.
Behind the motherboard tray could free up and allow you to just use that lower 3 slot.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Okay.
Cool. Thanks, Rom. Next up, moving on, we've got a picture from Steven. He sends in his rig, which it's a black and red theme, which I'm very fond of. He's also got a water cooling setup here with some Swift Tech hardware. It's like an MSI. He didn't say which video card he's rocking.
It's a Swift Tech H220X, I believe.
Also, I'm having a hard time nailing down the case, but
I will say, oh wait, no, that's H220X. The H220 was the one where my pump died on it.
Right.
Yeah.
So
keep an eye on that Swift Tech pump. Keep an eye on it. If it starts making noise or anything like that,
ditch it.
Get it out of there.
Get it out.
I've had a couple Swift Tech pumps die on me, and that's
Yikes.
never a good thing. Okay. So other than that, we got red and black theme overall.
Yep.
We have an 850 watt power supply. We got Corsair fans. Did we figure out what case this was?
No.
No.
I don't think anyone in chat has said. But the first thing that stands out to me, I mean, overall, this is a pretty good looking build. I don't know if it's the picture quality or if it's your camera, but it looks a little dusty. You could try cleaning it out. Just like kind of see some dust maybe on the power supply and on the fans, on the blades of the fans.
Yeah.
But also the your PCIe cables, I always feel like should match the ATX cables with whatever kind of color / pattern that you have going on. So if you have a black and red striped PCIe cable coming out of your video card, you should have a black and red striped ATX 24 pin coming out of your motherboard. Yeah. That's just my personal opinion. I think it looks a lot cleaner. It looks more uniform, and it makes it look a bit more cohesive. So I don't know. That's a way that you could pimp out your PC a little bit more.
It's interesting too, because these are it's obviously a custom cable set that he has for this power supply.
Well, EVGA has red ones with some of their power supplies.
Yeah, but I mean, does it come with that though? You have to order that separately from EVGA. I don't know if they sell them that just come with the red cables. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
But if you bought the red cable kit for this, and then you also bought the red and black cable extensions for the PCI Express graphics, that'd be an interesting choice to my mind.
I would just go all red.
Yeah, I would just
keep it simple.
If that's an extension for the red and black there, I would just ditch it and go with all red. Yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah.
We also have here's the thought. Depending on your CPU situation, how much you're overclocked, try just unplugging that extra 4-pin. That's coming across to the middle right here, because you probably don't need it. You probably will have 0 difference in your performance without that plugged in. I believe you have an 8-pin over here on the left and a 4-pin over there on the right. If you can unplug that, that would clean that up just a little bit. Yeah. Granted, if you're like doing a heavy overclock or something like that, you might want to keep it plugged in, but I might try without.
Yeah.
Give it a little run, unplug it, run a couple full system benchmarks or something, and see what happens.
Also, I would say throw out that Corona bottle that's on the top of your refrigerator.
Oh God, there's a Corona bottle.
Looks like it's empty and it's Corona, and you should get rid of it.
Oh wow. Oh, that's the segment I was going to bring up.
What?
Was to do a section where
Corona
we talk
chugging contest?
No, where we talk about all the things we'd rather do than drink a Corona. Because we used to spend lots of time coming up with things that we'd rather do than drink a Corona, and with that article that was all over the place this last week, it kind of brought it to mind.
It's a long list, but thank you for that.
Well, he wanted a specific thing in here, which is that he has red LEDs, or white LEDs, and he wanted to know which looks better.
I like white.
Yeah, I think
you can see more definition and more color, I think, with the white, whereas the red just makes everything red. But you've got some different colored components in there, some little nuances that you kind of like to see more neutralized.
Yeah, I'd say we go with the white as well. Also, we need to see a picture of the LEDs as well as the side panel.
Yes, very important.
And that kind of thing. But hey, Steven,
thank you, Steven. All right, we got 3 more here, guys, or 3 or 4 more here. We got Chris, who sends in a picture of his system that's built in the 250D. 250D is part of Corsair's Obsidian series, I believe. It's their mini ITX little case that it's kind of large, it's kind of big, it's roomier for a mini ITX case, but it can fit full-size hardware, albeit apart from the motherboard, of course. But it looks like this is a top-down shot that we're seeing.
This is the best shot we have as far as what to...
This is a helicopter shot, so this isn't the side. It looks like it's from the side, but it's actually from the top.
What?
That's the side.
So he's asking what he can do to manage his cables better.
So you can see there, like there isn't much room for you to manage your cables other than just kind of sticking it down there, like in that little dark crevice.
I had to cough.
All right.
Sorry. Anyway.
Brilliant. Yeah, there's not much you can do. I've dealt with the 250D a bit, and it's tough. The best thing I can advise you to do is zip tie the cables together so that they're not all just kind of separated and like make a wide freeway of cables down there, but just zip tie and like consolidate them, and don't just zip tie them in one place. Like zip tie them like every few inches so that it kind of creates like a larger tube or a larger highway.
I would say you've got a bit of space down here at the bottom front. So there's this front intake, right?
Yeah, get them beneath
that. There's
a
flat space on the floor here. And I don't know if there's any natural cable tie-downs right there. But depending how serious you are, you could even punch a hole or 2 through with a drill down there to route a couple cables and then just get them all tidied and just bunch them all down there at the bottom. But I mean,
I think there might be some tie-down points there.
If there's tie-down points, all the better. And then you can do that without any like modding or anything like that. I mean, you can even get those adhesive ones that stick on, but I find that those lose their adhesion after a while, especially if they're in a warm system. But yeah, I mean, working with a small form factor case like this is just one of those issues that you're going to have a difficult time with. Yeah, you don't have a lot of space to work with the cables. But I mean, considering what you have in here, and the full rad and everything for the CPU, and a really big Asus graphics card.
You've got a lot of stuff packed into that small space.
There's not a whole lot to complain about. And I mean, also you can't see any of this, right?
Yeah.
With the panel on. So I mean, functionally, I don't think you have a whole lot more that you could do here.
Wait, does the 250D have a window on top?
I don't know.
It might.
It might.
I think it does.
I'd have to double check it.
I think it's got a window on top. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does.
I think I've only done one. Oh, yeah, it does have a window on top.
But it's more towards the back, so you actually don't get any of that front-end business, cable management business that's happening right out of your PSU. So,
so I would
just
say
like most of the CPU.
Yep.
So there you go.
Nothing you can do. It's perfect.
Thank you, Chris, for sending that in. We appreciate it. Moving on to the last few here, we've got Gurjot. Gurjot sends in his system. It's he's rocking an FX 4300 at 4.5 gigahertz, overclocked, of course. An R9 280X. This looks like it's inside of a NZXT P2. No, wait, what is this?
Yeah, NZXT P240.
P240.
Right.
Yes. It's got a VaporX video card in there from Sapphire. This is a pretty clean looking build. This is, I think, a budget case because there aren't like actual rubber grommets, they're just cutouts. So obviously, you know, it looks not quite as tidy. It doesn't conceal the cables as well, but I think you've done a pretty good job here. Just in terms of, I don't know, space management. You have a lot of extra room.
There's something funky going on with one of these SSDs over here. It doesn't look.
It's kind of sideways, right?
Like
or
it's straight, yeah.
So maybe your tray isn't mounted straight into the cage. That happens. That happens with me
also,
sometimes.
what's this cable coming in front of the power supply? What is?
That could be from that could be LEDs.
LEDs?
Like, you know, like an NZXT LED strip, or like one of their
yeah, maybe
LED cables, or it could be from. It's too thick to be a fan.
It's a big old NVIDIA sticker.
Oh, I think it's LEDs because you can see it goes around the entire case.
Okay.
So I think they might be LEDs. I can't figure out. I can't think of what else would be.
I think they must be blue LEDs because when this image, the interior is lit up blue.
Right. So that's fine as long as when your side panel's on, you can't see that extraneous bit of cable there. I think it's okay. I think it's pretty clean, man. I don't know why I chose your rig because it looks pretty it looks pretty good to go. I can't really say much. Maybe if you wanted some additional airflow, you just want to get those temps even chillier, you could add some exhaust fans at the top of your case because I know you've got some fan mounts there at the top of that chassis. It's just one of those things where you don't need it, but it's cool to have. I guess
some folks in chat are questioning why he has an NVIDIA sticker on the case and a
for a Sapphire card,
a Sapphire VaporX graphics card on there.
That would be interesting to find out.
Maybe it's an NVIDIA GPU and he modded it and used a Sapphire cooler to. No, probably not. I really doubt that.
Highly unlikely. I don't know.
But yeah, there's not a whole.
He's an NVIDIA fanboy on an AMD budget.
There's not a whole lot to say here other than, I mean, the color scheme is a little like...
Yeah.
A little bit, I mean, to me, because it's got the white, the blue. I'll be honest, I don't think that NVIDIA sticker matches too much on the outside. It's not terrible.
Right. It's the fan, I think. The Noctua fans, man. They don't match with anything.
Of course, doesn't match with anything. Yeah, I mean, if you stick with black, blue, and white, maybe that would blend a little.
Black, blue, and white is a good combo.
Yeah.
I will say, and it looks like you already invested in most of your components being that color, so it wouldn't be too difficult to swap it out. I mean, if you put the Noctua fan maybe at the front of your case, where it wasn't as visible, I don't know. Actually, don't do
That's a
that.
smaller fan. I think that's a 92 millimeter fan.
Yeah,
not
and
cooler or
and
anything.
it's probably built for static pressure, so you should probably keep it there.
You could just swap out and get a new cooler completely.
Yeah.
Like an Enermax ETS. Shoot, what is the black one I just used? ETS T40 or whatever
Black
it is.
Twister?
Yeah, the Twister one.
Yeah.
That is.
I have it right there. ETS T40.
ETS T40, yes.
Black Twister. It's on my wall.
You have one of these?
Yeah.
Oh. I should have asked you to borrow that. I bought the one that I used.
Really?
Yeah. It's okay.
Oh.
What was I talking about? ETS T40. Something like that. That's $40.
Right.
You can get it for 40 to 50-ish.
Or buy an open box.
Outperform that. It's black, which will blend in, and it's got a blue LED fan on it. So, something like that I think could round it out a little bit. But other than that, very, very nice build overall.
Yep, I agreed. Thanks, Gurjot.
Great cable management.
Gurjot Bajwa.
It's time for Afromancer.
Appreciate it, buddy. Next up, yes, we got Afromancer. Afromancer with his system. Using an Intel stock cooler. I don't know, man. It looks like you've spent, a decent chunk of change on this system. Get a nice cooler.
No, I'll be honest. No, wait. Yes, I spent some money. But I'll be honest, I would swap that power supply before the
Oh, yes,
cooler.
true.
Inland is not...
That does not look safe.
Is not
80 plus certified.
In my top range of... Does it say 80 plus?
No, I'm saying it's not. It's probably not.
Who knows? Yeah, I would swap out the power supply.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a paranoia with more budget power supplies
than anything else, pretty much.
And yeah, that's what I would swap out first.
Unless you want flames to shoot out the back, then I would keep it.
Yeah. Other than that, though, so power supply first. Maybe get one that has some good sleeving on it if aesthetics is a concern for you. That way, you'll also solve the problem of the multicolors that you have, unlike the. Oh gosh, you're using a Molex to PCIe adapter.
Yeah.
I've never seen one of those used before.
No wonder they include the accessories for this guy. It's just for this one guy.
I don't think I've ever seen one of those actually in use.
Neither have I.
Yeah, that way you could get rid of that. You could get rid of all the
that tells you a lot
cables.
about the power supply.
Yeah, it doesn't have enough enough PEG connectors on there.
Yeah.
That would do you a lot of good, I think. Also, you have this cable. Oh, I see what he did. Look at this other cable.
It's a CPU.
So the CPU supplemental he has coming up to the left, and then it looks like it's
taped.
It's wrapped in something.
Taped onto the fan.
/ twist tied to get around there. But I also don't know what case this is.
It probably has enough room behind the motherboard tray to route that cable, though, because that's just...
Or if there's room to go along the right edge of the motherboard and then across the top, behind the top fan, that could be another possibility. But yeah, that doesn't look very good.
Yeah.
Afromancer.
I agree.
But hey, I like seeing a build that we can make some recommendations for.
Yeah, absolutely. Stop sending all your fancy-ass rigs, people. And last but not least...
Oh, yes. Okay.
Last but not least, we've got Ivan Marjanovic. Marjanovic.
I think.
Thank you, Ivan. Again with the CPU, the friggin' 8-pin EPS connector, we've got routed around the left side. Although in this case, I could see it a bit more like why he did that, because I don't think there's any room behind the motherboard tray on this case. It looks very bare bone, minimal. That would probably be my first recommendation, actually, is upgrade your case.
Yep, new case.
Get a new case, and that will solve a lot of the issues that you have going on here with cable management right off the bat. You've even got drives mounted, towards the front, so you've got cables facing, the left side of the computer case as opposed to the back end. So yeah, get a new case. Which
those drives, if you're not getting a new case, you should be able to at least reverse those drives around and get the cables at the back. That's not too difficult to do. But yeah, the case is the big standout here.
Right.
The fact that it's not painted on the interior. This is either an older case or just a very cut rate budget case.
Yeah.
But yeah,
How it gets old.
Save up $70 to $100. Invest in a case.
$7,200.
$7,200.
Oh.
$7,200.
Okay.
That's a good range for a decent case.
Yeah.
And you'll find if you buy a good case, and that you can use it for several systems. Actually, you're probably the thing that will make you upgrade in the future is USB 3.1 or USB 4.0 or like front panel stuff when
Yeah.
that comes out. Other than that, though, I mean, he's done a decent job with what he's got.
Yeah.
I'll say.
Yeah. So just get a new case. That's pretty much it.
All right.
Thank you, Ivan. And that pretty
Thanks,
much wraps it up for Pimp My PC.
It does.
And I think I'm far over. We are both far over time. So
I was on time. You're over.
You were not. You were well over an hour, sir.
Well, just a little bit. But you gotta give people a little bit extra.
Well, of course, and I'm a little bit over as well. So instead of going into the whole Q&A thing, I mean, you guys know my Twitter. You guys know Paul's Twitter. You can tweet us questions anytime. We're usually pretty good at getting back to you. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Awesome Hardware. So thank you guys so much for staying tuned for both sections of the live stream. If you guys are watching us on YouTube, be sure to check out Paul's channel on Paul's Hardware. Paul's Hardware. Just check out youtube.com/Paul's Hardware. And yeah, thank you so much. We are going to be doing some live streaming again after this tonight. If you're watching us live, where we're going to be playing some games. What do you want to play tonight, Paul? You want to play some GTA? You want to play some Insurgency? You want to play some...
Well, GTA 5 I have ready.
Okay.
Insurgency I have, and I know people have been playing.
It's quick to install.
But I need to install it, so that's
pretty quick.
Just a matter of how quick I get home, get everything ready, and yeah, I'm down for whatever.
All right, cool. Well, then we're gonna regroup in probably an hour to an hour and a half if you're watching us live, and then we're gonna play some video games. And you guys are gonna be more than welcome to join us in those games, assuming that you have those titles saved and whatnot. So thank you guys so much.
Indeed.
This has been fun. See you guys next time. Feel free to like and subscribe. Like, subscribe, do the whole thing. Share it, favorite, whatever you can do nowadays.
Join us next week on Tuesday at 5:30 p.m.
That's right.
We'll be doing another live show.
That's right.
It'll be even better than this one.
Maybe.
Yes.